It's difficult to predict changes that may happen to a part or process before it's time to make a cut. Changes happen. It's important to keep operations flexible so small changes don't cause large problems. Mastercam 2023 includes some great new tools to help us react to changes. This Formula SAE brake pedal is a great example of a part that needed changes. Here, we tried to machine the part with the same work offset that we used to machine the soft jaws. Unfortunately, these soft jaws had problems locating the stock. The shifting stock position caused some serious mismatch between sides of the part. To fix this, we can create a new work offset using a known feature in the stock. To build a new plane, click the gnomon on the lower left corner of the screen. Let's use the center of the pivot hole as the new work offset XY origin. To have better control over part thickness, let's select this point on the bottom face of the part. To lock the auto cursor mode to hole center mode, press the C key. Now click this circle. Over on the Advanced tab, note the associative checkboxes. Mastercam 2023 now allows dynamic planes to be associative. Back on the Basic tab, name the plane and click OK. Now we can select all operations and enter Edit Common Parameters. Edit Common Parameters can change common settings for every selected operation simultaneously. As you can see on the Planes page, the original plane name is very long, causing part of the name to be missing. In earlier Mastercam releases, this could cause confusion between planes with similar names. In Mastercam 2023, you can now hover over the name field to see the full plane name. Here, let's select the new plane in all three fields and click OK. Regenerate all the dirty operations. We see that most of the operations are ready to run with their new work offset. Yet there's a problem with operation 2. Open the linking parameters page for this operation. Note how all the values are set to absolute. We measure absolute value coordinates relative to the work offset origin. By relocating the work offset origin lower in the Z direction, this cut has shifted lower. The operations that are still ready to run use incremental values. We measure incremental values relative to the selected geometry. For the most part, these values are set to 0, setting the cut right to the depth of the selected feature. Operation 2 can't use incremental 0 as its depth. The selected chain is not at the desired depth of cut. Instead of incremental depth, we can use associative depth here. We measure associative depths relative to a selected point. If the location of that point changes, the cut will move to follow. Set the depth field of Op2 to associative 0 relative to a point on this face. Set the rest of the linking parameters associative to the same point. Regenerate the toolpath. Now we can see the Z depth of this cut is correct. If the design changes and we need to use Model Prep Move to slide this face higher, the toolpath will follow the face. Note how the retracts of all the other operations are now higher as well. This is because their clearance plane heights are associative to the same point. If the location of the pivot hole changed, we would usually need to make manual edits to the origin. In Mastercam 2023, we can use Model Prep Move to slide the pivot hole to its new location. The plane we created earlier is associative to the location of the hole. Note how the origin has moved on the screen, yet all operations remain unchanged. If we choose to measure the Z component of the work offset from the top of the stock, we can edit the plane. Slide the Z axis of the gnomon up to the top of the original stock. There isn't a single visible change to any tool motion. Incremental and associative linking values tie tool motion directly to the part model. Combining that with dynamic plane associativity prepares Mastercam users for any change, no matter the size.